You're listening to The Rich Life Revolution with me, Michelle Cooper. My mission is to empower you to step into your next level of wealthy. You'll hear all the deets, a little bit of inspiration, and real life takeaways so that you can create your own rich life revolution. Let's dig in. So this episode is set up for all my entrepreneurial friends out there. Does this feel like you? Do you feel like you've maxed out your growth? Your price is at the market threshold point. There's no possible way you could charge more money for what you do. You feel like maybe you're on the brink of burnout, feeling stressed, overwhelmed, anxious. You've already had success in your business, but you're starting to feel like you're sliding backwards. Maybe you're feeling like you're restarting. Maybe you've hired a lot of people lately and you're questioning if this was the right move. Are you seeing a reduction in your profit or maybe even operating at a loss? And do you find yourself asking, how did I get back here? How did I end up back here? What's going on? Well, my friend, you are in what's called the S-curve. So the S-curve in business is a growth trajectory. It's a mathematical equation, and it's taught in standard business school curriculum. But what I want to focus in on is the S-curve in your business with the lens of your finances, with the lens of money. So we're going to specifically talk today about the S-curve of money. Now, the first thing I will let you know is that your awareness of being in the S-curve is key in navigating the S-curve, because the S-curve can take you down. Like, let's get real here. This can be so bad for some people that they end up closing up shop. So if any of what I've said is true, if that feels true to you, then this is an amazing episode for you to listen to. So let's break it down. If you've had success in your business, then at some point you will hit the S-curve. And the S-curve will happen over and over again. So what is this S-curve you're talking about, Michelle? Well, I'm going to tell you exactly what this looks like. But before I do that, I want to stress that the S-curve is not failure. The S-curve is actually growth. So the paradox in this situation is that the experience you're having is making you feel like failure, but what's actually happening is your business is growing. You're in a growth trajectory, but it doesn't feel like growth for you. So the S-curve is not a measure of failure. Okay, let's get clear about that. When your business starts out, let's say it starts out at the starting point, the zero starting point, and it carries along flat for a little bit where you might not be making a lot of money. Maybe you don't make any money. But then all of the effort and the energy you're putting into your business will start to generate revenue, will start to generate profit, and you'll get an uptake, right? So this is that first part of the S. You get a growth. Now, that growth can be rapid, and a lot of people call this the hockey stick scenario, where you've got this flat line and then this growth trajectory. Now, what happens is that momentum of all of the effort and the energy and everything that you're doing in the business has kind of like taken hold, and you've got that upswing. At some point, you're going to level off and you're going to go into the next part of the S-curve, which is the plateau. And for some of you, it might be a dip. I have been there. I've been in both the plateau and the dip, and it can feel scary as hell. So while you're in the curve, this usually feels like a lack of clarity, maybe a lack of vision. You've lost track. You've lost that guiding north. It may look like you've been so focused on the hiring, building out team to try to buy back your time. Maybe you're really focused on lead generation, and so you haven't really been looking at your numbers. Maybe you've been looking at the wrong numbers. So often an entrepreneur will think that they just need to work harder. They need to get more sales in the door, more revenue. But more revenue won't fix the S curve. It won't get you into the next part of the S, which is the next growth momentum. And this point in business can feel very isolating because you have to deal with some of your thinking. You have to deal with some of your beliefs. You could end up feeling like a failure. You might feel like an imposter. You might feel like, I don't want to tell anybody that this is happening. This is embarrassing. And so you'll try to grit through this alone. You'll focus on revenue generation, revenue generation, revenue generation. And you'll try to get through it just with revenue generation and the grit of your teeth. But gritting through the S curve on your own is not going to get you through this effectively, efficiently, and navigating this curve well. Why? Mainly because you can't see the real problem because you're in it. You're in the curve. So it's like, can't see the forest for the trees, can't read the label from inside the bottle. It's all of that. You can't see the problem because you're in it. What you need is data and support. So we're going to talk about that now. But before we jump into that, let's just identify what it might look like in the lived experience of the S curve in your business. So at that beginning stage, at that beginning growth trajectory, your business is making money, it's off the ground, it's gaining momentum, you are growing. However, you're probably doing a lot. You're wearing all the hats. You might be reinvesting a lot of the cash back into the business, and then your momentum will really kick in. And we usually see an uptake, right? Like this big kind of growth push. So now you're super busy. Now you might feel maxed out. You're probably highly profitable, but you have no time. So a piece of advice you may be given from all of the business gurus out there is to outsource, is to hire a team, build a team, buy resources, buy your time back, outsource activities that you can pay less to get a return on your time. That's really good advice, but we need to have clarity first. At this point, you can also get comfortable, and comfortable can mean complacency. When we're building out our team, often these are people who are sitting in non-revenue generating and or non-revenue supporting roles. So this is overhead payroll. This isn't fulfilling on your service. It's not making your product. It's overhead. That could include hiring team members like a bookkeeper, a VA, marketing people, all of that. I call these people margin eaters. They chomp away like little Pac-Man at your margin. So in building out this team of people, you will usually see a big drop in profit. And it's important to navigate this well because the drop in profit is not sustainable in a long term. And if you aren't paying attention to your numbers, then you could be moving into consecutive loss months. And that might lead you to falling further and further behind in your obligations and your commitments. So you could end up in some debt. You could end up maxing out your credit, scrambling to pay your bills, robbing Peter to pay Paul, selling things at less than you would because you're trying to get a cash injection into your business. Your business may become bloated with expenses, sometimes expenses that aren't necessary. You might be thinking, I just need to stop the bleeding. I'll slash expenses. This is reaction. We don't want to be in reactionary energy. You also might be thinking that you're a failure. You might be doing this whole business thing wrong. So we not only want to navigate the S curve, but we want to leverage the S curve because it's going to keep happening. And so by you learning how to deal with it now, you'll be able to deal with it in the future in exactly the same way. So the first step is to gather data. Step number 1, gather your data. Get clear on your numbers and detailed numbers, like the lowest level of detail that you could possibly get to, like drill down into the details. Your bookkeeper has all of this information. If you don't have a bookkeeper, that is somebody that you're going to need in order to navigate this S curve. So hire a bookkeeper. So we want to get clear on the numbers. We need to gather the data. Gathering the data means income coming in and income going out. So examining our expenses, examining our team costs, examining our revenue streams. Where does our money come from? How profitable is that revenue stream? Is there anything we can let go of because we're not selling a lot of it and it's not profitable? Is there a profitable low-hanging fruit product or service that we can get out into the world very easily? What is that? How are we generating leads? What's our current ROI on our lead gen activity? Is that a good strategic expense? The second step, now that you have the data, is to ask powerful questions. So I think it was Einstein who said, the quality of your life depends on the quality of the questions you ask. So what is the data telling you? I want you to consider, what are the goals of the business? How does this expense support the business and support the business achieving its goal? And is the expense ROI generative? Is it an expense that the more energy we put into it, the more we get out of it? Now, some things just aren't. Dropbox, for example, it's $14.99 or whatever it is a month. And it's just an expense that your business may need. It's definitely an expense my business needs. It's strategic because I have a virtual team. And so anyone can access all of the files that are on the team regardless of where they're at. So it is a strategic expense and it is a requirement. So what are the goals of the business? And how do our expenses, whether that's software, overhead, people, how do those expenses support achieving that goal? Step 3, forecast it out. Run it out. Run these numbers out. Now, if you need help with this, I'm going to give you a free resource for this. It'll be in our show notes, but forecast this out. Today, here's where I'm at. If nothing changes, how much runway do you have? How much room do you have to last out this S-curve season that you're in? What do we need to do and how quickly do we need to do it? Step 4, look at your thinking and your beliefs about money, because you think the problem is the cash flow. It is not. It is your thinking. It is your beliefs around money. The S-curve is just a natural progression in business, and what we decide about that, what we think about that, what we believe about that will deliver the actual results of navigating the S-curve. So get clear about your beliefs about money, your beliefs about your success in your business. And step 5 is looking at what is possible if we step outside of the complacency or the comfort zone that we're in and into innovation and adaptability. Basically, if we play offense instead of defense. So in business, we can be playing defense because we're just trying to maintain the status quo. We're trying to protect what we've already created. And a lot of people will get to that point. That's the plateau of the S-curve. What we want to do is step into offense. Offense is innovative, it's adaptable, it's going for the growth. Now, the growth doesn't necessarily mean more sales. It might mean more profit. It's not all about this hockey stick upward trajectory. Sometimes it looks like just more profit. So this is the opportunity. This is the leveraging point. And how do we really get clear on this? We cast a new vision. That might take you stepping outside of the business with your team, with your coach, with your mastermind, with your resources to get clear on where you're going, who do you need to get there, and what do they need to do. Those are 3 things you need to get clear on. And blocking off a whole day where you do that is one of the most vital steps to navigating the S-curve. So I hope this information helped. I hope this guidance helped. As I said, I'm going to give you a resource to help you navigate this specific scenario in your business because it is very, very important. Every business is going to get here. If you've had any kind of success in your business, you will hit the S curve. Like it's just the natural progression of business. So we have to learn how to navigate it. We have to learn how to leverage it. I can't wait to hear all of your stories about navigating the S curve. Thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you got at least one gold nugget today. Be sure to grab your copy of the Rich Life Revolution workbook to help you set the foundation for your next level of wealthy. Get it now at richliferevolution.ca, and I'll see you later.